see the animal. Maybe I'll mention something about that animal, so when you come back, maybe you'll remember a little snippet of that information. Now, we do have two different hyenas here on the ground. The first ones that we have are the striped hyenas, and they may be in the back. Sometimes they're in their caves. Now, something that everybody knows about hyenas is their jaw pressure. They can exert as much as 800 pounds per square inch. So when they eat everything. They can crack bones, they can crack skulls, and they even eat hooves. They leave nothing behind. That's why I think they're one of the scarier animals we have here on the grounds, and they're also called the living garbage disposal of the African plains. The spotted hyenas are in this cave. Just make them out. Yeah, they're way in the back of that cave. You can just make them out. We also have in these next two exhibits rock wallabies. They're being introduced. So you'll see them bouncing around in here. And there's one right up front here, one of the smallest members of the kangaroo family. And these wallabies happen to have very pretty markings on them. Now, across the way on our left-hand side, look way down in the bottom front. I'm going to boogie up because we don't often get to see these cats this time of day. This is our big catwalk, and we have our cats from Russia. This is a Siberian lynx, and they are a very long-legged cat. This keeps them from sinking very far into the snowdrifts. They're also one of the few cats that have fur on the bottom of their paws because of the element that they live in. You'll also notice they have a very short tail. This way it doesn't get in the way as they're jumping between snowdrifts. You'll notice that we do not force our animals out front. They all have the option of being in the front or in the back of their exhibit as they please throughout the day. It is up to them. Now, I know that my favorite family is probably still going to be napping. At this weather, they're probably napping in the back, but will be out soon. Who's my favorite family? Mr. and Mrs. Warthog. That's right, we have a family of warthogs. And we have a mom, dad, and the three babies, 2 sons and a daughter, and they are a lot of fun to watch. You've seen them in pictures, movies, and cartoons. They always have those tiny little legs. They can run as fast as 20 miles an hour, so they can scoot. It's kind of fun to watch them tearing around because, yes, their tail goes straight up like a flagpole. Now, that is a Chicoan peccary. You can just see them back there. We do have more, but one ventured out front. They are from South America. They were thought to no longer exist there at all. In the early 1980s, a few were discovered. You can just see them there. Okay, I'm going to cruise up a little bit more. You might see them a little better over your shoulder here. Take a quick peek. Okay, also on the right-hand side are the smaller arch cages with our smaller exhibit cats. About every 6 months or so, the keepers come in and change things up. And other than the permanent structure, they change up the climbing branches, the toys, the sleepy nooks and crannies, so they have a new view. The branches are brought in during our tree trimming time as part of our recycling program, as are the bins that you see on the grounds and the benches that you sit on. Well, they're from recycled milk cartons. Let's see if Orson is true to form, unless the weather's bothering him. Orson is our other jaguar, the ones that are depicted as black. He's probably already in his cave. So if you look in the cave, even sometimes from the bus, you might be able to see him because he is a darker shadow within the shadows. They're always depicted as solid black, and they're not. They are born with a recessive gene. It just gives them that appearance. You can and will be able to see the rosettes up against this dark coloring. This coloring happens in about 1 in 7 births. At one time, they roamed California, Arizona, and Nevada, but were hunted down through Mexico into South America. I'm listening to the hornbills here. This is King. You ought to hear him sometimes. They get really loud. Look at the ones in the last exhibit. Those are the rhinoceros hornbill. You can see they have a spare bill on top of their bill. Resembles a rhinoceros horn, hence the name. It is hollow, so it doesn't weigh much. Now, you might notice that vocalization almost sounds like a car horn, and they have different sounds, and sometimes it does sound like a traffic jam down in this canyon, and that's where it's coming from, these birds. All the way down to the bottom, Express Bus Stop 5, flanked by the macadamia, pistachio nut trees, and Canyon Cafe. You'll notice in our eateries that we're not using a lot of plastic. We're really trying to get away from it as much as possible. We're now using biodegradable items made from potatoes and cornstarch. Now, as we enter Center Street, if you look to the right, you'll see the speed ramp here. This is your fastest and easiest way to make your way to the front plaza from this canyon throughout the day. Something else I'd like you to notice, our change of seasons. We always hear that here in California. You don't have the change of seasons. Okay, sorry, we don't have to shovel snow. But if you look around, you'll see all the different colors of foliage in amongst the permanent greenery we have here year-round. Let's see if our lion-tailed macaques made it out for us here. Now, from where I'm sitting, I can't see them. We're looking for a primate. Oh, I see one walking. I'll barely make him out. He's walking along the bottom, so he's making his way down there. So they are out. One of the few primates that like water. In their exhibit, there is a shallow stream. There's also a shallow pool underneath this porch area. See if there's any of them down here that we can see. They have a fringe of hair around their face, on their head, and it looks like a lion's mane. And a knot of hair on the end of their tail, like a lion's tail, where they get their name from. They're in the entranceway of Sun Bear Forest, and we do have a pair of sun bear, and also silver leaf-eating langurs that might be bouncing around a little bit. Maybe they're sleeping in. They get their name because, well, the coloration of their coat. It's this beautiful gray-silver color, very unusual, very pretty. On our right, my favorite spot in the zoo, Fern Canyon, different kinds of ferns, trees, bromeliads, and even orchids from our own orchid greenhouse. Very nice in here. There are a lot of steps involved, but there are also some benches where you can sit down, relax, and just enjoy. If you're able to, please take a stroll through there. Maybe from the top to the bottom might be a little easier. Well, let's see if our bears are out. They get a snack, and sometimes they go to the back to enjoy their snack. Now, the bears that are in this exhibit, and these two exhibits, are called sloth bears. Not because they're slow, but like sloths, they're mostly arboreal. They live in the trees. You're always able to tell an arboreal bear because they are very bow-legged. Also, they do not have fur on the bottom of their paws. This way they can grip onto tree trunks and tree branches as they're climbing. We also have in this horseshoe area some mangabeys, some guenons, and some Francois langurs. Come out a little. I see the gates are open, so it's up to them. Some brown bear are next in these two exhibits. We have the brown bear include the Kodiak, the Alaskan, the grizzly, and Manchurian brown bears. When full grown and mature, brown bears can reach the height of between 8 and 9 feet tall and maybe a couple of more inches. And after packing on a couple of extra 100 pounds during the winter in the wild, they can weigh more than 900 pounds. Now, our bear won't get that heavy. They don't need that much fat on their body for our winters here in San Diego. Which is something that we get asked once in a while. Do they hibernate? No, they don't need to. They get fed very well here. We also have some Cape clawless otters and a great big piece of machinery in front of us. Here we go.